How's it going, Internet Land? This is Zachimus Prime, aka Zachimus Prime, here with another Transformers review. And today we're going to be reviewing the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Soundwave. And yeah, Soundwave is actually quite a lot of fun as a figure. This is one of the Siege figures that I've actually been really looking forward to, just because he cuts such a good looking figure, you know. One of the things that the Siege line has been doing pretty well has been making just a really solid, clean-looking homage to the G1 figures, and this definitely continues that. In terms of accessories, he comes with his little gun right here that he holds in his hand. He's got this little shoulder-mounted one that goes here, and then he's got this doohickey right here. And this is, you can have this as, I mean, I guess you can hold it as like some sort of a gun if you want, or I think what you're also supposed to do with it is if you collapse this down, you can stick that in there. And now you can make like a hammer thing. This is something that I definitely don't quite understand, because Soundwave is never known for his hammers, and this accessory doesn't really do anything else whatsoever. So, I mean, because it's not really gun looking enough that you can say it's a gun. I don't know. So that's what it comes with in terms of accessories. Just a solid looking figure overall. The paint apps on them are, you know, what you'd expect from the Siege figures. He's got this paint app on here of this like scratched and gridded up looking tape deck here. You know, like he had a he's got a glass chest, but you know he's been through some shit. He does also have some paint apps on his leg here. These are the masked, or the masked paint apps. They put like a mask over it and apply the paint app that way, as opposed to the dry brushed paint apps that are on some of these figures. I don't think he's got any dry brushing paint apps on him, actually. But I mean, I know this is actually a big point of contention among a lot of people, but I think the paint apps actually look really good on him. They, you know, like, yeah, they tend to visually clutter up an otherwise fairly clean looking figure, but I mean, the idea is that it's supposed to be this, like, you know, dystopic, war torn, you know, environment, and it works and it looks good. I mean, I definitely don't feel that it looks bad. He does have this backpack thing here, which actually does kind of look like it's on upside down, but it doesn't rotate around or anything like that. Just from a backpack, or maybe like a jetpack concept, it would make more sense for this to be up here. But I think you can, if you didn't have this in the way. Nope, that doesn't go over his shoulders. I don't know. But of course, you know, that is, there are a few necessary points of kibble for his alt mode. But yeah, let's get into the transformation first before we do anything. So his head is on a ball joint, so he'll look, I mean, he doesn't really look up and down. He doesn't really look side to side, but his head will rotate around, as is fairly standard for a lot of these ball joints here. He does have some light piping there. If the light is in just the right angle, it will catch it fairly well. but it would need to be in just the right angle. Otherwise, I mean, just looking at it, it doesn't make his eyes look like dead or anything like that, so it's not terrible, but no light piping is better, I think, in my mind, but this works out well. One of the things I want to point out in terms of articulation is that he can, in fact, poke his own button. So that's cool, and he's got his hand is molded with the finger sticking out a little bit, separate from this other hand here. So that's like specifically a thing that they're like, okay, he has to be able to do this. So his shoulder goes all the way around, goes out all the way, upper bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow. It is a bit hollow here. You can stick your finger in there, or maybe like an M&M for a snack later. There's a transformation hinge here, so that'll rotate, that'll move a little bit. There is no rotation at the wrist, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm not really worried about it too much. Excuse me. He does have a waist joint here. His little skirt flaps go up, allowing his legs to kick that much forward and that much back. Ever so slightly hampered by this little peg that's on the back of his leg. It's not really a big worry. He's got about 120% of a Van Damme going on here. His leg has not bent backwards, so you can't get like a more G1 transformation out of him. But it will bend about 90 degrees forwards, or backwards this way, the way that knees normally bend, that regular, totally normal way. No front and back on his ankle, but he will tilt that much. Just that much. But yeah, so his articulation is pretty decent. Not like, oh my gosh, amazing, but like not like crappy either. He does have these little pegs here. There's one. So he's got a few of the littler pegs where he can attach things onto. He's also got all of your usual 5mm peg holes on him, so he is standardly compatible with any of the gimmick-wide stuff. But let's get down to transformation for this guy. So the thing about this is that, like, I mean, I understand why they're doing what they do. In this day and age, nobody under the age of like 20 really knows what a cassette deck is, and so it's not really makes sense. And going further than that, like, there's not really as much play value with, you know, oh, this guy turns into a truck, and this guy turns into a car, and this guy turns into an airplane, and this guy turns into, you know, and then this last guy turns into a tape deck. Yeah, well, that doesn't really interact on the play value with all the rest of these figures, so I can understand why he turned into something else, but it's just kind of a bizarre transformation. But I understand why they made that choice, I guess is what I'm getting at. Anyhow, I was taking it pretty slow because I wasn't explaining to you every single step of the way, but you're all smart. I believe in you. You got this all figured out. Open up this back here. I really like this back panel here to like close that up so that it hides the hollowness within, and then you can just like fit the foot in there. I think that's super swanky. I'm going to take this and fold these up. This little hole will go into that peg there on both sides. We're going to fold the wrists in, and then we've got the arms folded in like this, but we're going to rotate these so that this peg will fit into that tab there. Ta-da! Like that. And then these will fold out. And these will fold out. And these will kind of sit out like that. And that is about... Oh, wait. Hold that thought. You can take these and plug them in right there. And that's about as transformed as this figure gets. You can put these at an angle. You can put them like that, whichever you want. Like the Voyager class Starscream, he features heavily his alt mode chest or his robot mode chest in the alt mode, in the back of the alt mode. It's like, yeah, instead of putting any kind of like, he turns into a spaceship of some sort, but instead of putting any kind of an engine detail or whatnot, we're just going to put his chest right there. Though for this figure, I can understand that they've got so that you can still have deployment of like the tape figures sold separately. None of them are included with this, which is a little bit of a bummer. It would have been nice if they had like, oh, hey, Buzzsaw is included with it, and then if you want Laserbeak and Ravage, those are separately. But no, there's nothing that comes with it. The little tape guys are separate entirely. So, but yeah, there he is in his spaceship mode. And this one is actually one that I feel like could have used a little bit more paint apps. More specifically, I would have liked to have seen something up here. This detail is okay and whatnot. And this probably could have been covered up a little bit better. Maybe if there was like a flap integrated into this, that would have folded over to kind of hide all that a little bit better. But yeah, so he's got his, it's an alt mode because we say so, kind of a thing going on. And I don't even know what else I can say about this figure at this point. Like he's a good figure. Like he's a fantastic figure, but you don't get him for the alt mode. You get him for the robot mode, and the robot mode looks freaking amazing. And I can definitely say that this is a figure that is going on my shelf and will look good on my shelf. But it's not going there in vehicle mode. I'm not saying that it like sucks or it's crappy or anything like that. It's just, it's so not what you'd expect for Soundwave that I just don't see any need of keeping them like that. But that basically wraps up my usual procedure for a figure. All in all, I think he's a great figure. I definitely recommend him. Especially if the G1 Soundwave alt mode or robot mode is your thing. I know he's got kind of like a weird fan mode, tape deck mode. I don't usually get into fan modes. I know he's got a semi-official like lamp post mode, if that's your thing. But again, I mean, that's not even in the instructions. There's apparently like a picture hidden on the inside of the box somewhere. If you like open it up from the bottom and like, oh look, here's a picture of him as a lamp. Surprise! But anyhow, so this is the Siege Soundwave, and thanks everybody for watching. You guys are awesome. Be good to each other and have a fantastic day. I'll see ya. Bye.